este video pues les quiero hablar de paquetes de Prisma PHP, como dándole seguimiento ya en sus últimos días de actualización, que es muy interesante. Y hoy es el último día que le vamos a dar más o menos un poco de soporte pues al idioma inglés, vamos a ver, pero mayormente ya de aquí en adelante, más o menos los otros videos que vienen, lo vamos a estar haciendo como normal, siempre pues en español. La idea era pues más o menos intentar mejorar un poco el inglés también, así que por ahí vamos, esa es la idea. Y pues ha llegado a su momento donde pues ya se ha llegado a concluir o dar idea del documento mucho más. El paquete más o menos ha llegado a avanzar muchísimo, chicos. Yo mismo como programador, que ya llevo más de 6 años programando, pues tenía rato de no tocar PHP, ya que hubo este movimiento de React y todo eso, así que yo regreso a PHP para darle un poquito más de improvement, o sea, mejoras, donde PHP considero de que sigue siendo uno de los que todavía tiene mucho que dar a los desarrolladores para que nosotros podamos hacer muchas cosas más, ¿no? Bueno, entonces vamos a darle las bienvenidas, así que welcome to you all. In this video, this is going to be the at least not the last one, but it's going to be the last video in English, which I'm going to cover topics where we're going to talk about form handling, about GitHub logging, about Google logging, credentials logging, and let's see if we touch some about Docker first look. Let me see. I'm not sure, but we're going to try to get through everything about this. So in this video, we're going to cover this. Going to be the first one is going to be the form handling in this case. So let's start straight about. So now we're going to start with the documentation, because I was working on the documentation, and it's good to know that everything where to find everything what you want is on the documentation. So here in this case, let's see, Prisma PHP. Okay, so here we're going to start in this case talking about the first topic. What we're going to touch is form handling. So in this case, to go straight to the form handling, what we're going to do is Prisma PHP environment. So we're going to go to the class usage, which contains everything what is on the Prisma PHP environment for class. In this case, if you want to know the variables what's available in global, or if you want to use, like say, in any kind, but remember, when you are talking about variables, don't modify those variables which Prisma PHP handle it. So be aware of. So in this case, let's go to class usage and go to form handling, and let's take a little brief introduction about form handling. And as you can see, the documentation is giving us details of integrating and how it works, this form handling, but in Prisma PHP environment. So take a little read about, but I'm going to go straight because I already know some of the usage of it. So let's start. In this case, we're going to start creating a register. For that, what I'm going to do is let me go. Okay, I'm going to use this library, which is Tailwind CSS library, to to create user those things. So I will use Tailwind in the background to create all my my views, my user interface. No, so I'm going to use this library. You could use because it's free and it mainly have nearly a little bit of everything. So you could search and look how it is, and then if you want, you could implement it easy as that. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go straight. Now I'm going to go to my editor, which I already have prepared for this. So I'm going to copy from the documentation, easy as that. I will Prisma, and I'm going to copy. Okay, and paste. And this is going to ask me about installing the package name. So editing. All right, good. I just updated the package because there was leaky fix needed. So I fixed it and I already updated, so you could use with confidence now this package. So what I want to do is test FormHandler. I think is a good name because we're going to talk about. Yes, I want to use Tailwind and web socket. No, Prisma ORM. Yes. So I start accepting what I'm going to use with. So let's talk about this form handling. This form handling is all about when you're going to use post requests with your form. So it's going to handle that form, and then it's going to give you all those information which you're going to register, validate it, which is going to be secure in this case to save in your database, and it's clean. And remember, when you are using Prisma ORM, in this case Prisma PHP specific ORM, the data when you're going to save is it's going to be validated again anyway, because by security reason I put that layer before saving the information in the database. What you're going to do is validate if the information is good or things like that, and if there is any kind of situation, we're going to throw an error and then going to notify. So in this case we already have the installation, so I want to say code and FormHandler, which I'm going to open in a new instance in this case. So I'm going to close this instance of the VS Code and open this one. So I have my Prisma PHP environment clean. In this case, the first thing what you're going to do is come and then you're going to create, and I'm going to create a group route which is going to have by name out in this case, and afterward what I'm going to do is register. And this row is going to have an index file inside. So I'm creating a group file which have register and then index PHP file. So I'm going to say OK, and well, before saving, anything, I'm going to do is launch the project. So npm run dev. In this case, as you can see, it's not necessary to run the composer install again, because the package now it's working and already recognizing if you have PHP installed with some, it's going to have the information and then going to try install composer install by itself if you have installed the composer. In this case, well, if you have by default the SAM installation, so it's going to install in the C and then it's so on, so on. So remember to install by default the location in this case. So I'm going to open. Okay, here we have. So what I'm going to do is just start. Okay. Okay, no. First thing first, what I'm going to do is prepare my navigation. So I'm going to copy and paste code in this case. But before copy and paste, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create and explain why I'm doing this. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to create a called components this is a directory, not a row, so it's going to be components with S because it could be more than one. So components, and here going to be navbar .php. So in this navbar.php, what I'm going to do is copy and paste the header. Okay, I'm going to cut everything and I'm going to save here, and then I'm going to come to the navbar, paste, and then I'm going to come to the layout. Remember, this is the main layout. So in the main layout, what I'm going to do is say PHP require once the navbar, but this is going to be component / navbar, and there we have it. So now what I'm going to do is try to put remove some stuff here and add some stuff, but for testing purpose, so I'm going to advance and components navbar and try to copy and paste this and explain one time, no? Okay, because it's the same idea. Okay, now we have just this row, like I said, register and loading. And if I go to register, I got empty or blank page. So here, what I'm going to do is I add the register. If I go to loading, well, nothing there, but what I want to do is try to add a row and call loading / index.php. So in this loading, as you can see, if I save and well, okay, there we go. Okay, let's refresh. Now here. Okay, now we have loading here. So what I'm going to do now is start installing the loading section. But what we're going to do is first we're going to register the user, because we're going to use the form handling. So for form handling, what we're going to use is the register, and then we're going to use all those stuff. Then before, let's start talking about the manual. So let me go to the documentation, straight to the form handling. All right, so as you can see, form handling is a library which already integrated within the within the package, which is Prisma PHP package. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to say PHP, and then in here I'm going to add or anything what I need to load. So what I need to load is use from the library, which is going to be form handle. So if I come and control click to this, you going to see it's going to send me to the class implementation, which is good because you have everything what you need to analyze and get most of it, no? So once you have this, you're going to create an instance of the form handling, which is going to be I'm going to call it just form handle, just so, and then I'm going to work with post because I always remember when you want to make loading or register user, for security reason, use post. So currently form handling working with post, only post currently, so remember that. But the validation and registration were working fine with get, but currently I'm not recommend using get because is by security reason I'm working yet. So for this, what I'm going to say, I'm going to pass you post data. So post data, it's going to be passed to the instance, no? Okay, everything remember is on the documentation. So afterward, remember, get set form data. It's going to get the form data. But before, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you copy and paste the loading, and then we're going to start talking about no, not loading, is a register, sorry. So what I'm going to do is copy the HTML, only HTML, because afterward we're going to see if we're going to work with. So here, let me get some room here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to register, and I want to center this. So what I'm going to do is coming out. Okay, I want to create a layout file which is going to have a section, and if I command save, this is going to throw me an error. I'm just going to copy the section, format, save. Alright, so what I'm going to do is give a class which is going to handle. So I'm going to say width in screen and the height with the screen to have the space. So it's going to be grid, and place item center. Yes, so everything is going to place to this center, and we have this information. So okay, so if I go to loading, it's going to be empty, but the register section is already have name, email, and password. So the good part of this is I'm going to close the loading and the navbar because it's already the layout too. Okay, the first layout was okay. Now yeah, good. Okay, let's talk about how I'm going to register those inputs. So for registering inputs, in this case in form handling, or in this case with there is two ways, which is going to be this way, which is very handy way to have everything on your input, and you put the inside, and then you got the information echo to your web browser, but it's everything going to be handled by PHP in this case. Okay, the next one, it's you can come and integrate with the input file one time like this, and I think this approach looks very easy too, and this is more like detail when you want to do like stuff like having everything like placeholder, autocomplete, this and that, so everything is going to go blah blah blah. All right, so now let's go straight, and then what I'm going to do, like say I'm going to register the input type currently. So currently if you echo the form handling, you don't have anything inside, anything inside. So now, okay, for testing purpose, what I'm going to do is echo form data. Okay, so this is going to be get data. So echo, and which is going to be just pre. Okay, good. And data echo. Okay. So as you can see in my form, I don't have anything, so here what you need is just a method. It's going to be pass, pose, and that's all. As you can see, I have already printed here. So what I'm going to do and try to register, it's empty, but here we go. If I say, and remember this is form, not form handle, so I'm going to register the name, and it's required, and the value is going to be true. If you can see the name, you say register name. So I'm going to save this, save. All right, now I have saved this, and when I try to register the name, it's required. So how the name is required, what I want to do is just type something else there and register, and voila. And as you can see, the state handle, it's already given that you have the input have a value and which echoing out, and you don't have to, but if you come and refresh like normal, it's going to go off. Easy as that. The default behavior for the web browser and the default maintaining, like the consistent of the states, is well implemented in this case, I would have said. And I just come and print it out and I say, get me Jeff there. Okay, we get the Jeff. Okay, so on. So we're going to do all this, but we're going to start copying and paste. And this is a powerful tool which you can use, because this is like, say, when you're going to start working, you could use the name as an array, or you could use as an object reference. So for that, you're going to just come and echo, like say, I just want the name. So what I'm going to do is, here we got this with name with array, and then the name with like object. So here we have surely, because it's empty and I'm not validating anything, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say one, and voila. Okay, now guys, I'm going to copy and paste, and we're going to advance everything what we need about the register section. So okay, I'm going to copy, paste, save. Okay, nothing going to be changed, but I'm going to explain and fix some errors in this section. So first, if you are working here, because remember, working with FormHandler is not required that you can you need to use Prisma PHP ORM. You can use any ORM you want, or if you want to use SQL by your own, that is by your decision. So for handling FormHandler, you have some sections where you have to know how to get information from. So alright, so if you are working with Prisma, I already have left example. This is a complete example, I think. So you could copy and test anyway. Alright, so what I'm going to do is let's come and start working with Prisma. Prisma was already covered in next section. So what I'm going to do is come and then go to Prisma schema. What I'm going to do, just I'm going to say MySQL. That's all what I need. So I'm going to save this information and close, because by default Prisma PHP comes with this Prisma model to use as a testing purpose. So I'm going to use that model. As you can see, the same model I use in the same model. As you can see, user from Prisma, user where email, and in my model I have here email, and so on, so on. So now next, I'm going to come and set my environment variable for this. So I want to just, for this purpose, because I'm working locally, so no problem here, not going to be anything to expose. So root, then my super password, that is the MySQL default port, so is out like this. I'm going to save this, and now what I'm going to do is migrate my database and then use FormHandler. Easy as that. I already have information and saving this information. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to stop just for a quick moment. So npx Prisma great dev. Okay, see if everything gone good. Yes, everything gone good. My credential is working good. So CLS, so I'm going to generate class, Prisma classes. So I'm going to say npm php generate class. So what I'm doing is I'm generating my classes, and as you can see, the error goes away because this Prisma class is already generated. So if you want to know where is located everything, you can do easy as this. You just come to Prisma, and then you can go, and if you come to the location, you just go straight in lib Prisma classes, and everything goes there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is explain this code and how it's working. Okay, the good part about Prisma PHP is going to give you to create or connect with user roles. So I'm going to come, and what I'm going to do is launch npx Prisma Studio. Okay, good. Okay, as you can see, if I go to users, I have the user table information empty. Okay, the next. Let's go. User role, empty too. So the good part, what you're going to do is here in this section. But before we come, let's go here. So I'm validating my form, empty messages, and then the form is validated, remember, because the form going to be posted, so it's going to run to your inputs, which are you are sending in this case. Okay, the inputs are here, the name, email, and password. So afterward cleaning up all this information, it's going to be validated. And so if the form is validated, we're going to get the data, the form data, and we already printed it out, so you already know. And then we're going to create a Prisma instance to save to the database. So but before saving to the database, we're going to check if the user email it already exists. So if the user email already exists, we're going to say, well, user already exists. If not, well, we're going to create, and we're going to send a message, created successfully. Or if you wish, you can redirect to loading, as you wish. But what I want to do, just say user created successfully to have the message. Alright, then, so if the user found, error. But if the user not found, we're going to create the user. But here, I'm creating the user with this name, email, and password, just so. And then I'm creating a role, in this case, create role, where this is Prisma PHP. If you want to see all those information, how it's handled, all those information, so you come Prisma PHP ORM, and then Prisma class usage, create, and then you have all the information here. So this already documented, so I'm just copying it from the documentation and creating in this case. So here you got it. If you want to create, like say, profile, create many, just create, go so on, so on, so on. Okay, so now in this case, I'm just trying to connect or create a role in this case. So let's try if everything gone. So I'm going to say, let's say, create a Mario, and then I'm going to pass 1, 2, 3 and try to register Mario. As you can see, the message is said user created successfully. So let's go to user. Yes, it's created. And then user role, it's created too. This is the good part, where if you using Prisma ORM, it's going to be created in one request. You can create subsequently reference or tables or rows, which are going to be rows in a table. So yeah, okay, no problem. All right, you got the idea. So once it's created, so we're going to create one more. So here I'm going to refresh, and then what I'm going to do, create another one, and I'm going to put like say 1, 2, 3, and then register this one too. So register, all right, create it, and when I come back, I say I have this, and the user created. All right, easy as that. So what I'm going to do, go to sign in, which is the logged in. So in the logged in, the good part of the logged in is going to be implemented the same way, easy code and always started. So I'm going to come here, and then okay, go to out loading. Now let's start working on the loading. So as you can see, we already cover the form handling in this case. So but we're going to go a little further with loading too. So form handle in this case is going to be in logged in. We already register user and get the information from the post data, clean it, post data, and then we're using it. So in the logged in, I'm going to copy and paste, and then I'm going to explain everything here. So save, and then I have my loading already. Okay, good. Now the same idea, the same process, but different way to handle the user request. So first, in this case, as you can see, this section is already the same. So this means to say, if you want to handle your register section this way, you can do it, because I think it's very easy way to handle your form in the same line where you are having it. But if check this, if you have and if you want to handle more attribute more than required, well, I think it's good to handle to the top in this case, and creating in this case with this way. That is the more readable way. So remember, if you're going to handle more than required attributes, so be aware of creating this way, because it's more handy way to handle your forms. Okay, now let's go, and then I'm going to explain this code. Okay, guys, easy as this. I have my form, which is going to be type post, and I have already registered here, as you can see. So I'm going to use credentials to log in my user. I'm going to use credentials. So first thing first, remember, when you are logged in user, you have to first validate the form, and if the form is validated, then what you're going to do is get the information from the form handle, no? So all right, the form data is going to be the data which are those inputs in your which you are sending with your credentials, no? Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to log in with this user, and 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the password is incorrect, so I'm going to try to log in. As you can see, say password is invalid, no, invalid password, which already good to know, and as you can see, the state maintains. But if I come and refresh, well, state goes away, which is very useful when you are working with different type of requests. In this case, this is post request, and when you are working with get, well, you could handle it get by your own way, but form handling going to handle by post in this case. So all right, let's start logged in with the user in this case. So I'm going to go, and then I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, which is the good password. And as you can see, it's searching for dashboard, and dashboard is not exist. So what I'm going to do is log out, and then I'm going to create the dashboard row in this case. So I'm going to come and I say dashboard, and then index.php. So in this index.php, I'm going to copy and paste a dashboard, and then we're going to create a credentials for the third party. But before, so I'm going to copy the dashboard, import, okay. So good to know that the dashboard is public row, and even if I don't authenticate, I can go to the dashboard. Okay, I'm going to copy all resources and paste to this one to have those resources. No, so let's go. Okay, assets. Okay, save, there we go. So I just copy it and paste all those resources in assets, yeah, you can see all those information, easy as that. So now what we have to do is just try to log in, and eyes on here. In this case, as you can see, dashboard, I'm not loading. I can go to the dashboard. I don't have to be loading, and which is not good. So what I'm going to do, easy as this, I'm going to come to out, and then out config, and then I'm going to come here. I'm going to say the dashboard is a private row which is need authentication. And as you can see here, this sending me to out loading, which it's handled by the middleware. So but the middleware is searching for out and then loading, and I'm changed the loading. So the loading is out, but it's group row, which is very useful when you are doing. But if I would have like say out and then loading with a work, but in this case, when you have group row, we use straight like say direct, where we go there. So now if we try to go to dashboard as before, we straight redirect to the loading. Easy as that. We already have our dashboard protected. So in this case, what I'm going to do is start working on this GitHub and Google. Guys, GitHub and Google loading, remember you have to create application by your side, in this case in your GitHub or in your Google account, and then you're going to connect. So you're going to get a client ID. In this case, I already have left information in third party, and remember we already have the credentials section. This section we already covered. We already covered this section. But here this code was before. This code was before when I was working with without form handling. With form handling, all this information, it's going to go away. All this section, this go away, this go away, is post go away, because we already know when you are working with form handling, it's going to be post. And yes, yes, you got my idea. So let's go to the third party. In this third party authentication, we have out Google and then out GitHub. So what I'm going to do is copy this, and then I'm going to come, and then I'm going to locate my .env file. So then I'm going to paste, let me format it. So the good part, when you get your application ready in Google or in GitHub, you're just going to pass here the client ID and the secret ID, which I'm going to pass, but I'm going to close this, and now what I'm going to do is pass my credential, because I'm using for testing and I don't want to be creating next one. So I'm going to start using my one. Okay, remember that you're going to be creating your own credentials, no? Okay, so let's copy, paste. What about? Okay, good. Now yeah, it's working. Okay, guys, remember when you are working with your .env, that going to be your client ID by which your app is created, no? So the good one is that in the third party, if you go to the documentation, and then you get your authentication for Google and then your client ID, then you're going to create this, create new route API out this and that. So what you're going to do is you can come and copy this, easy as that, copy this, and then come up, and then I'm going to create a new file and paste it and enter, and I already have created my row, no? So what I have to copy and paste in this case, which you can by testing purpose like print this JSON, but we want to go straight. So I'm going to copy this, and then what I'm going to do is come, and then I'm going to copy and paste this, and easy as this, guys, we already have our third party loading connected. Guys, this is huge advance if you are working with those third party. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to let you know that when you are working with third party, you're going to see this one. Check this, API out sign in GitHub. So the GitHub is the identifier, which is going to be by default by the GitHub information. So the route is going to send if GitHub, it's going to be the GitHub, and if it's Google, it's going to be the Google, and by default it's going to be handled by the class, no, by the authentication class, out class. Here, as you can see, if you Google, so if it is Google, well, it's signing with Google. Easy as that. So what I'm going to do is come and try to log in with GitHub, but before logging in with GitHub, what I'm going to do is come and copy information, and I'm going to log in with my credential first to see the difference. 1, 2, 3, and as you can see now, I see a photo here, which is the credential photo, which is in the default. So what I'm going to do is log out and then logged in again, and now I'm going to press to log in with my GitHub. So I'm going to press log in with my GitHub. I already give permission, and easy as this, guys, you have logged in with third party and GitHub. And yes, easy as this, you just remember how to create your app and your redirect to, remember you have to redirect. In this case, here says everything what you need, the redirect. Here you are loading, and when you are going to make your callback, remember to give your callback to let me see, okay, GitHub don't need a redirect, but Google yes. So GitHub handle when you create your secret, so it's going to be handled. So it's going to be AP out. I think I have to put the callback, which is going to be so you have to, okay, I understand this. Okay, variables, and you come to dynamic rows, and then you're going to understand more about this. Let's say multiple rows, it's going to be this. So here you're going to send any request callbacks, it's going to handle with the name. So it's going to be the out, and then Google or GitHub by this way, without the row. Yes, I'm going to put a documentation easy as that, because I don't see the specific third-party callback. Yes, only in this case, as you can see, here is the callback for Google. There's the callback for Google, but for GitHub, it's going to be GitHub. But remember, I think in this documentation, in the talk, I want to put afterward. So remember, you're going to get the project from the GitHub. So you just finish the video, you're going to get your GitHub there. So remember, what I'm going to do is redirect in my Google app, and remember afterward when you are sending to production, we're going to change all this stuff then. Okay, now let's go straight and test. All right, let's log out. Now we are logged out, as you can see. Now let's test Google. Okay, anyone? Let me see. Voila, guys, there we go. Easy as that. We have loading with Google too. I think I want to work with Facebook, but not for now. Maybe a little bit more in advance. But you have this section, which huge, guys. Oof, yes. So logged out. So here we go. We already covered the form handling, GitHub login, Google credentials, and let's see if Docker file works, because I was trying to launch the Docker, it was not working, it was not downloading. But I'm just going to give you a brief introduction about Docker and the huge advance using Docker too, because Docker use an image which is like the SOS, like say you get that image like the system operative, and then it's going to be to the AWS and those files. So it's in a one contained file. Everything you need, your server, your database, your composer, it is your libraries, it's in one file. So let's go talk a little bit about Docker in this case. So let's see if the Docker maybe wants to run or not, because when I tried it was working, because this is the first look and it was working everything good. I don't know why, but alright, just for testing purpose, I'm going to explain how Docker, a briefly introduction to Docker. So first, when you're going to work with Docker, so I'm going to let me come here, for Docker, well, this already finished his task. Okay, yes, close. Okay, good. So this is going to be a GitHub, publish to GitHub, public. Yep. Okay. There we go. So here you can get the information. But I'm going to copy and then paste to the video, so you will get the information. No? Okay, so copy. Let me see. Yes. Okay. Now let's talk about a little bit about Docker. No? So Now, as you can see, in this case, I'm working with my Docker. This is my Docker file, which is going to be running when I run npm run. It's going to start, and then Docker Compose. So Docker Compose is everything what you're going to need to copy to your volumes. In this case, to your server, no. So in this case, and everything what is going to be installed and all those stuff, then is kind of orders. So it's good to know that you have this Docker and Docker Compose, and you could work with that. So now the next thing what I was checking is the database situation. In Docker, the database works a little bit different. So if you're going to work with Prisma ORM, in this case using PHP, in this case Prisma PHP ORM, well, you have to, it's going to come out of the box by using those credentials. You don't need any type of specific credential to get. I think this, you can see it, no problem. Here we go. Okay, so as you can see, the database URL is going to be this way, and as you can see, the Prisma PHP, it's going to from here. Okay, let me have it open this, and the Prisma PHP ORM database URL is, this is the class base. So is going to be two database pointing to the same, but in the name, like say by the database, looks like working when you were working with localhost for connection, and when you were internally connecting to using Prisma PHP, it's a little bit different. So be aware of that. So just the brief introduction. So let's run npm, but before you run, remember, before you run, you have to install Docker desktop. So people who are already working with Docker, because I think Docker is easy, but you have to know how or for what you're going to use Docker for. So here we have Docker. So I clean up the builds and the volumes, just one, and the containers. I don't have any, but now if I come and I run, this is going to automatically create everything what is needed for the environment. So let's run npm run dev in this case. So see if it's run, because when I run, how I delete the image, like maybe gone into conflict. As you can see, it start installing everything what is needed for PHP and Apache and MySQL. So if you can come and then if you go to image and go to volumes, you're going to start seeing, and if you can see now in builds active, it's going to show when it start building the process. So let's see what all about. Here is already completed, so let's wait a little bit. Now it's already building all those files, then here it start running. So as you can see, he have already built 9, but let's wait if runs. If not, we already know this is the first look how it is have to be running, but I delete the image accidentally. I think not accidentally, I think I did want to work clean from start. I always trying to show everything from the start, details, because I think it's very important you to know how from start it's how to develop it. So maybe I'm going to see what is happening, because it's working everything good, but now it's not building the image. If you come, it start the like say the downloading. Okay, this looks good. It's downloading. Yes, let's wait a little bit. It's downloading the image now. So if you come, you already installed the MySQL. If you come to the containers, it's not created yet, because the builds, it's on process. We have 7 from 16 which have to be installed. So
I'm going to see if get installed. I'm not going to lose so much time for you, consume time for. Okay, okay. This is going to take a little bit, so I never be. I think I'm going to cancel and we'll just. It's going to be for next time. But remember, everything is already was working. That means to say it's secure. So I'm going to see if I download the image with another or try to fix the issue with this, because I think everything was here. I'm not going to say no problem. Okay, well, reaching to this, well, by my part, all you have seen is the video. Well, if it's helpful for you, well, subscribe and give a thumbs up, because remember, this is a package which is growing and implementing useful and easy way to handle developer by developer. So remember, in next time we're going to use Docker, but I'm going to touch some topics on which you're going to be I think this topic is very interesting and useful for or as developer if you want to handle your servers, which is going to be about CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous development, which is going to give you huge advance to handle your platform, your server. As you update your code, the platform going to show to the production, and that's the good part. And remember, this approach is already integrated in some sections like Next.js with Vercel. In this case, just when you deploy your code to GitHub, that is going to straight to Vercel platform, and then it's going to be in the production ready, and you are already seeing those changes. So we're going to discuss from we're going to see if we like detail. But remember, in PHP environment, not in JavaScript environment. So we're going to cover cPanel CI/CD and how we're going to use Git actions to handle those CI/CDs integration. But remember, I think I'm going to not only talk about, and I'm going to try to give a server test. In this case, well, I have space in my server. If you want to test your project and we're using next Prisma PHP project, and you want to have a server in this case, the cost is not. So we're going to discuss everything. All right. So Docker is not helping us. So well, see you in next video, and happy coding.